Hey everyone, welcome to the video. I'm going to show you guys how to unlock the new secret exotic mission in the deep dive activity. A lot of creators have put out early guides talking about the fishing and the statues, but they don't talk about what to do after that. So this is going to be like an actual guide on how to get into that. And of course, no hate to those guys who put out early guides just trying to get the views, but this is going to actually show me in the activity what it looks like, the objective of the activity. I still haven't gotten it beat yet because I'm still kind of getting used to the loadout setup and trying to find randoms on LFGs that are not going to just be dying every few seconds in that final part. It's not difficult, but it is if you're having to run around and pick up your teammates and not doing any damage to the boss. And the final section has like a timer on how much damage you can do to the boss, so it's kind of going to take coordination and the right amount of mix between classes. Very likely going to need a well, just the way that the boss is set up. That would be the way to go, is to go with a well lock and precision weapons. So when you get there, you'll get a flag, you can switch out your class, and I recommend doing that. So what we're going to be doing first is getting the actual blades that are going to be able to unlock the statues in the deep dive activity. So as you'll see here, you're going to go to the EDZ, Nessus, and also to Miasma, and you're going to fish until you fish up a exotic fish for that location. And with those, it takes roughly about 100 casts without the fishing buff. With the fishing buff on the EDZ today, you'll actually be getting a little bit of a boost, so it only took me roughly like 30 maybe casts, maybe 35, something like that, so it's much better than it was if that's the actual like bad RNG, but we'll see how that goes for most people once people talk about their experience and how much of a difference the exotic boost made for this week. So once you've got the ketchup done, you go to the helm and you're going to dunk all 3 of your fishes, each time getting an exotic piece of gear. Once you've dunked all 3 of your fishes and you're ready to go, set up your best class that you've been doing the deep dive with, and make sure again you have a precision weapon that's going to match your class. And I would say recommend putting all your boosts on, so like arc surges, things like that, so that way you can actually, that was me. I would say for me, I would put an arc surge on. I was running arc, but if you're running solar, then solar surge, so on and so forth. But just make sure that you're matching your heavy ammo damage type and you're doing the best damage you can in a short period of time, so you only get like a minute and a half to damage the actual boss in the activity. So once you do that, you're going to go into the deep dive activity and you're going to hit the 3 statues. So the first of the 3 statues is going to be after that first drop down when you're entering into the deep dive and you go into the airlock. You've taken Asa's gift and you're going to drop down the first ledge, and you'll notice as you're walking there's going to be a slight edge sticking out that you can kind of curve back around. You're going to want to do that because that's going to be the way that you would normally pick up the flower at this depth for the quest, the flower quest, where you're collecting all the flower and the different types, the 6 different types of collectibles in here. You pick up that first one. When you drop down, there was a statue, and this is going to be the first statue that we're going to activate. And then from there, you move on to the next section, which will be the actual encounter. Once you've beaten the actual encounter, that's going to be where the next or the next statue, should I say, is. It's going to be off to the left where the snipers usually spawn. There's a door up there, and once you clear this area, you just hop up to the door and you look to your right, and there's going to be a statue right there, and that's going to be your second statue. And of course, you'll know when somebody's activated it because you'll hear Ziva Roth screaming and going through her dialogue, and so that's part 2. Now, once you get through here, you're going to move into the next section, and the next section is going to have a giant fan. So you're going to drop down, you're going to go all the way to the bottom where the giant fan is at, and once you clear that fan, you're going to look for an area where you can kind of hug the left, and this is after the very first shelf. So you'll see me landing here. I'm going to turn left, and there's a bubble, and then I'm going to turn left again. And once I turn left again, there's a drop down, but you don't want to go there. You want to turn left one more time, stay on the shelf, and boom, there's the 3rd statue. So once you've done these 3 statues, we did notice that there's an exclamation point on the monitors right before the final boss, but since I haven't cleared the actual boss encounter yet, I'm not sure if there's something further to do, like you go down there, you investigate that, and you get something additional. I'll make a supplemental video showing the whole run with the pressure trials and everything that I can try to, so if I can try to get people on board. It's hard sometimes to get people to activate the pressure trials. And so once you've done the second fight, which is is going to be the 2750 meters depth, a door is going to open up on the right side. And it's easy to miss, so be careful. You don't want to move into the next section. And I'm not sure if like grabbing Asa's gift will mess this up, but basically the door will look very similar to any of the deep dive doors that allow you to go into the water again. And so you'll walk through that water wall, and what that'll do is that'll take you into a room that's similar to the salvage mission that's in this particular map, where you're walking through like the halls of coral and you're fighting some Taken. So you clear that Taken out, and the next section won't open up until you actually get this Taken killed. Then from there, you're going to move through another underwater section, grabbing bubbles as you go to stay alive, and you're going to finally come up to an enemy called Khull, the Executioner Knight.
You're drifting off site. So give me a sweep.
Now Khull's going to introduce you to the mechanic that the final boss is actually going to need in order for you to get the exotic, and you're going to have to kill these 3 minotaurs that you see me fighting. And just be careful not to stand like directly on Khull, because they're going to spawn around you and you're going to die just like my teammate did there. So once you've done that, you do the first little bit of damage to Khull, Khull will disappear. So then you're going to run Khull down, and you're going to follow him through some pyramid tech, and you're going to see now you're in kind of like a hidden pyramid. You're going to fight the enemies up until you hit this resonance wall, and we actually burned quite a bit of time trying to figure out how to get through here. Unfortunately, I know better now that this is my first experience. There's going to be 2 activation switches. One's going to be behind you in the center here that you'll see activate, and then once I figured it out, there's actually a hidden activation switch that's underneath the staircase. So once you go under the staircase and you shoot the activation switch, the door will fall, and you'll be fighting Khull for real this time. He's not going to run away from you, so Khull's going to still stay in here. I'm taking out the snipers as I move. I'm trying to see that if he's taking damage, and he's actually only taking like 30 or 40 damage, so that means that we have to do the mechanic. Well, the way you do the mechanic is there's some floating activation switches, and you have to activate that in order to open up the doors. So once we figure that out, we hit the switch, the doors open up, and the minotaurs come out. And once the minotaurs come out, well, then you can actually kill and activate or what did I say, kill Khull once you've activated the doors and killed the honed minotaurs. So again, just kind of training you how to fight the final boss, which you'll see here in a moment. So we've done that. I'm killing the last minotaur here as I'm watching the gameplay, and now we're doing damage to Khull. So now you pop your well if you've got somebody with a well. You do all of your heavy damage. Try to get it done because you only have 7 minutes in order to get through here. And what you'll notice too is I think this 7 minutes also applies to the final fight too, which is crazy because you have to get a lot done in a short period of time, and again, you have to very much coordinate and do your best to burn the boss's health down. So I've got the enemies killed, we're moving up, and as you see, it says objective complete, and then it's going to take us to the next section. Here is where you can switch out if you need to, because there will be a flag. I should have, knowing now, I should have switched out from rockets to a linear, and once I've switched that, then I would take the flag and jump down. So, what you're going to do is run along the outside of the maze, and you're going to look for those same tone minotaurs, and you're going to try to take them down quickly. So I got that first one down, and what I'm doing is I'm sliding underneath the areas that allow connectivity to the next section. And so this whole area is like one big outer maze, and then a small inner maze. And that inner maze allows you to go down a set of stairs that you can jump across to traverse from one side to the other. And of course you can fall and die, which will put you back about 15 seconds, so try to avoid that. And also try to avoid getting trapped by the flanks and keeping your health up, because you know, that's a sucky way to die too, is the flanks, and sometimes you have to. Sometimes a Minotaur pushes you, which again was bad for me because I should have definitely gone with a precision weapon, since the Minotaurs were getting in my face, and I ended up rocketing myself when I was in a hurry in some of the last few seconds of the fight. But now that you see here is the final boss. So it's a Tormentor, and the Tormentor is going to push you as you're fighting these Minotaurs until you get Deathly Sharp ×3. You get that for a minute and a half. What Deathly Sharp does is allows you to do proper full damage to the Tormentor boss, and he's going to run away from you guys to the very center and fight you in the very center of the maze, which is where we are now. And so the goal here is to just kind of clear what you can real fast, drop down a well, which we're doing here, and do your best to hit your precision shots on this guy, because he only takes damage in the chest so far. Now, we didn't get him past half health. Who knows if later on he'll pop some type of a difference of like maybe second mode, but once we get him to the certain point where we get him down low, and he does do that, I'm sure he'll be easily damageable. But until then, what you're doing here is you're taking advantage of Deathly Sharp ×3, and you're trying to hit him as much as you can with a shot to the chest. Another thing to do is to group up. So it's kind of annoying here. I'm trying to pick up my teammates that are dying, and again, this is probably their first time too, so they don't know what's going on. And again, I'm not in Solar, I'm in Arc, so it's not like I have a whole lot of survivability built into my kit. You know, I'm picking up orbs and stuff, trying to stay healthy, and I'm trying to do my best to do damage to him while picking up my teammates who are just not helping me. They're just literally spending their whole time on the ground, and trying to stun everything to get it picked up again. And it's just frustrating, because here we have all this time that we need to be working, and we're burning all this time, and what we should be doing is running out of this room, and we should be going after the Minotaurs. So I had to type to them, hey, there's new Minotaurs. And so basically that's the fight. You run to the outside, kill the Minotaurs, get your minute and a half, collapse to the inside, pop your well, hit his chest with precision damage, do everything that you can in order to stay alive, you know, try not to be a hindrance to your team. You're just on the ground and you're not doing anything. Get out, get to your Minotaurs. As you see, if the game thinks you need help, it will mark where the Minotaurs are at. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes you'll be in here and it won't show you exactly where the Minotaurs are at. So do your best to try to make sure that you get your Minotaur down for your team. Get back in there, do the precision damage to his chest. And the way that Bungie's done things lately, I don't think there's anything more to this. You know, I would be awesome if there was like some other next level that you had to complete that didn't have a timer, that was a little bit harder, but I think this is it. I think this is pretty much the whole fight. Once you kill him, I'm sure you go over to pick up a chest or something, and then a portal will open up and put you back into the deep dive so you can finish your deep dive. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going to happen. So who knows if you actually have to finish the deep dive to get the exotic once you get everything done, but this is the available portion that we're working on right now to try to get killed. And once we do this and I get a proper full run video, I'll put up a full run of what it looks like and what I ended up settling on to do damage to this guy. Other than that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.